chosen.
Every person needs, at the center, some sense of meaning about existence. It is life and death to us. It makes us who we are. Yet most of us, as we grow up and become responsible adults, accept that life is complex, that we live in a world of subtle shades, not sharp black and white. I worry that these born-agains are being persuaded to return to childish certainties. The only truth they need is God. God as interpreted for them by their pastor.
Everybody knows that we believe the Bible's the Word of God. And today I talked about love your neighbor as yourself. Now, I didn't have to produce evidence, sociological evidence or psychological evidence. The book is true.
How can you say they're asked to think for themselves and they're told everything in this book is true?
Because they don't have to believe that.
The evidence I presented, you can go read this book, it says one thing, that book says another, that book says another, that book...
Well, the evidence I can present is we've got a book written over 1,500 years by 40 different authors on one subject, and it doesn't contradict itself. Well, you can't give me two experts in certain areas that are in the same generation, in the same area of study, that don't contradict themselves.
That's the beauty of science. We have lots of evidence, and the evidence is all the time coming in, constantly changing our minds.
Right.
And whereas you have one book which you say doesn't change,
exactly.
That's not easy to think for themselves.
And we've all decided as a group to go to the holy place. True or false? True. Everybody say true. All right then.
People like to say that faith and science can live together side by side. But I don't think they can. They're deeply opposed. Science is a discipline of investigation and constructive doubt, questing with logic, evidence and reason to draw conclusions. Faith, by stark contrast, demands a positive suspension of critical faculties. Science proceeds by setting up hypotheses, ideas or models, and then attempts to disprove them. So a scientist is constantly asking questions, being skeptical. Religion is about turning untested belief into unshakable truth through the power of institutions and the passage of time.
Why should children be victims of the particular tradition in which they happen to have been born, rather than choosing for themselves by being shown all the evidence that's available?
We are all, to a certain extent, affected by our surroundings. There's no such thing as a person living in a vacuum.
Indeed.
We're all affected by our parents, by our family,
yes.
But at the same time we have a choice to stay or otherwise. I think it's important for a minority to be able to have a space where it can express itself, where it can learn about itself.
Well, couldn't you preserve the customs, the traditions, the history, without somehow imposing upon the children views about the universe which modern science would say are simply false?
I would say impose upon a Jew anything. I would say that's something which is impossible. I think scientifically impossible. We believe that God created the world in 6 days. We know about evolution. Every single Jewish kid knows about evolution and has thought about it and has studied it and has looked at it and has thought, what's going on here?
How many of the children who come up through your system, your school system, end up believing in evolution?